Do you have any idea what you want to do with your life, with your career, with your job? Is there a path that you have in mind that you want to follow with that? I don't think that that answer is yes for a lot of people in my generation and younger, and honestly, probably even a lot of people who are older right now. I think that that's also one of the biggest things that I see people coming to astrology for clarity on, at least at the very start, is what should I do with my life? What am I here for? What am I meant to do? And I don't know if a lot of the information that we have available online is really suited for our modern world and the way that our relationship to work and the idea of a career is changing. Um, and I don't think that these changes are a phase. it's I think that it's very similar to how the economy itself became much more mercurial. There are a lot more jobs that just fall under Mercury's domain rather than, say, the majority of people working as serfs or farmers or foot soldiers. Even in different, if we look at different time periods and places where we get astrological information, not every Roman could have a Roman career. You can have your livelihood, but it's not the same as, say, being a politician and doing things that you do not have to make money off of necessarily in the way that everybody else has to work to survive. And I think that right now I'm seeing a lot of changing perspectives. Even as it's not like all those youngsters are just abandoning work altogether. No, I don't think any of us want to just abandon work and, doing stuff with our lives. I think that it's just that the paths are changing. In a lot of ways for the worse, it feels like. I think that a lot of people are getting disillusioned with the idea of doing a very meaningless job much sooner than their midlife crisis. I think a lot of people are getting disillusioned with the idea of money itself. I think a lot of people are also, on the flip side, breaking out of generational patterns of lack and identifying with lack and toil because, well, I don't have to do things the way that you did in order to survive. I would actually like a bit more than that. I think that that is becoming a more and more popular sentiment in all of these different ways. I want something more than that. And it feels like a really audacious request, demand, especially as it's like you're being given less and less and less in terms of stability and growth and certainty and opportunities in traditional paths, being given less and less, and turning around and saying, well, no, I want more. I want more than you were offering to begin with. I think that it's kind of awesome in a weird way, just to see more questioning and more turning to alternative paths and thinking about alternative structures. Thinking about, well, maybe what what came before this wasn't even good enough. I think that it is beautiful and terrifying to see. Um, and I think that a lot of astrological information is kind of lacking. When we think about the 10th house and the idea of a career, it isn't really up to snuff for this new emerging conception and relation to the concept. I think that as astrologers, it would be very, very prudent and helpful to look at these shifts in the public ideas and not just adapt ourselves for marketing purposes, but look and see, well, how do these meanings and interpretations shift with the times? I think that that is going to be very interesting to see how it shifts along with the public, along with those my generation and younger. And the ways that, say, lots and lots of people want to be creatives, lots and lots of people want to go into the trades. There's so many different paths, and they all look similar to what came before. But I don't think that lists of career options really fits purpose in the same way that maybe it would have been enough, meaningful enough guidance before. I don't know if a lot of people are feeling very happy with caregiving professions right now. I don't know if a lot of people are very happy with the idea that rather than doing this work and having this impact, helping others, nurturing others, you just have to take on so much load that you can't really give enough to any one person. And I think that the same goes for like teachers and just being so stretched, so thin that you can't accomplish even the bare minimum of what you really want to for each person, each student, each client that you are wanting to help. That was the whole reason you did this in the first place. And I think that that has been the most fun thing to look at when I'm looking at all of these lists of professions for different signs on the 10th house, is looking and seeing, well, how has that changed in recent times? How is it the same? Yes, but what are the big frustrations? Where is the disillusionment happening right now? That not a lot of people are feeling satisfied with the idea of following a career path in the traditional sense at all. Because there is no certainty, there is no illusion of certainty, there is no illusion of stability, there is no reason to be loyal, there is no reward for following along with that old structure. But rather than this being, well, I guess the 10th house is just worthless now, that's not what I mean at all. I think that there is still a lot of value and meaning in the idea of the career, the idea of, you know, something that you want to bring into being, the impact that you want to have on the world. Even if we are starting to separate that out from what you do for your living again. Or on the flip side, just going full pedal to the metal and trying to make it happen to where the day-to-day work that you do is feeding the impact that you want to have on the world, your personal goals and projects, rather than working just to survive and then giving whatever you have left over to those 10th house topics. And so I think if you are feeling very disheartened and unsatisfied with whatever information you have found, trying to find what should I do with my life, you can still look to the 10th house and the midheaven and the ruler of the 10th house, the ruler of the midheaven, where are they placed? Look to the 7th house, look to your 2nd and 6th and your 4th, and all of those important details. The tech is the same, but I would look for the disillusionment before anything else, alongside everything else. I would look for, rather, whether or not it is important to you that you have a straight path. If you have the faith for a straight path, and try to think, how can I make the 6th house work for me? How can I build on that trine? Because the 6th house is averse to the 1st house, and that is part of why it's such a shit house. That's part of why it's just a grab bag of everything people do not like about life and work. But it forms a trine with the 10th house. I think that it's going to be probably more valuable to look at them in tandem when you're thinking about, well, what now? Whatever I knew, whatever I learned when I was younger doesn't really apply anymore, but what's coming ahead, my generation has to build, so it's not set in stone yet, and that's terrifying. I would really just consider, it's going to be a lot more than just the 10th house significations for us. It's going to be a very different worldview for us. It's going to look very different in the future, and maybe that will be a bad thing, maybe not. But there is good reason to feel dissatisfied. And there is still a lot more that astrology has to offer in that regard, I think. I think probably soon-ish, I am going to make a rising sign by rising sign series for whole sign. Just looking at all of these different houses at the very, very least, and giving that different perspective. Not today because I forgot my tripod, and that's why my phone is propped up on another tree. But if you would be interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. You can put your rising sign and wherever your midheaven falls, if it's not in the 10th house. Oh, it's a spider. There is a spider making my phone part of its web. That's, you know what? We'll take it as a good omen. And if you are ready to get re enchanted with life and find greater personal fulfillment overall, and look to the deeper meanings of your personal natal chart and get actively engaged with the forces at play. I do have slots available for personal consultations. We can look at your natal chart, and if you want to focus on career, that is something we can do. And I think that you will take away a lot more value than just what should I do with my life.